hang on a second here. Next question comes from Andrew Trofimov in Moscow. That's the capital of Russia, you know, Scott.
I've been there once or twice.
All right, just checking. How far do you think NATO, governed by the USA administration, will go in provoking Russia in Ukraine? Long-range ammo supplies? What is the next move that will move it to the open conflict named war?
Well, I do believe that the goal and objective of the United States is to avoid an open conflict named war. Because if they wanted to have an open conflict named war, we'd already be in an open conflict named war. You know, they have been pushing the boundaries. They've been crossing red lines that they've established previously. I think one of the reasons is they're emboldened by Russian restraint. Russia doesn't want to get involved in an open conflict named war, and Russia's not desperate. Russia's winning, so Russia is able to put a lot on their shoulders that otherwise they wouldn't normally do. And I think the Russian strategy is working. Ukraine's getting whipped. How much longer Ukraine can sustain this is it's not very much longer. They're running out of forces. They're running out of equipment. And Russia's goal is to exhaust them, is to bring the Ukrainian army to the point of exhaustion and then to have collapse. And at that point of collapse, it's all over. And I think the United States has recognized this. You know, understand what just happened in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. There was a peace conference that was convened. They were trying to breathe life into Zelensky's 10-point peace plan. But what the world said is that ain't realistic. Now, Ukraine walked away saying we have to do a better job of convincing the developing South, or whatever he called them. No, the world's going to convince you through the hard school of reality that you've lost. And if you continue struggling, you're going to lose more until you lose it all. And I think that's the race right now. And even the United States is on board, quietly telling the Ukrainians, you need to accept a peace plan that brings an end to this conflict while there's still a Ukraine worth defending.
Amir Hussein in Iran, considering the accuracy and fire rate of HIMARS, why can't Ukraine disable Russian artillery?
Well, one is you can have a fire rate, but if you don't have ammunition, you can't fire. There's a shortage of HIMARS ammunition. Russia's been blowing them up. The Ukrainians have been using them. Two, HIMARS uses this combined inertial guidance system with GPS, make it very accurate. Well, the GPS just doesn't work mainly. The Russians have figured out how to jam it. They've captured a number of these guidance devices intact. They've run it through their reverse engineering process, and they've found the vulnerabilities. They've built new electronic warfare capability, and they're jamming the living crap out of it. So a lot of the HIMARS, when they're shot, they go stupid, and they're not going where they want. The Russians have also taken a look at the range of the HIMARS on the rocks. Look at a range of the HIMARS, and they've pulled a lot of the targets out. They've broken the targets up into smaller bits so that there's not inviting targets anymore. Plus, the HIMARS can be shot down. It flies a ballistic trajectory. It's not a maneuvering warhead. It fires. You get a radar, track it. It's a predictable flight path, and air defense can shoot it down. So, everything adding up, the HIMARS isn't the miracle weapon that everybody made it out to be. It's a good weapon. They've killed a lot of Russians with it, and they're going to continue to kill Russians with it. But the bottom line is, the HIMARS isn't a miracle weapon. And the other thing is rate of fire. What do you have to do when you're firing a high rate of fire? Stay in one place. It knows what happens when you stay in one place in war. When you're firing artillery, it can be tracked by enemy radar. You die. So there's just a whole bunch of things that add up to the fact that the HIMARS isn't going to be used the way maybe the United States would use mass fires, things of that nature. That's not how the Ukrainians are employing it right now.
Okay. Actually, something rather significant has occurred. Maybe I should address this right away. Steve says it's not possible to send a super chat. That's because YouTube has demonetized our channel. Previously, they've occasionally demonetized this video or that video. But as of a couple of days ago, they've demonetized the entire channel. And The reason
Information
doesn't make much
warfare, baby. That's one of the goals and objectives of the SBU, the GCHQ, the FBI, and the CIA, to demonetize platforms that put out dissenting voices. Was Gonzalo Lira's platform demonetized?
Hmm. Well, you might be right, especially since the reason they gave doesn't make much sense. And I'd rather work on this in a behind-the-scenes way before saying too much about their ridiculous reason.
Oh, did I just screw it up?
Oh, no. No,
Get it in the wrong game there.
you didn't say anything about the ridiculous reason that they gave. Let's see what we can do about that. But anyway, that's what's going on. But if you want to support us, go to wagingpeace.fund, wagingpeace.fund. Until
just so people know that we're not making this stuff either. Just ask Aaron Mate what it's like to have the Ukrainian intelligence service work with the FBI to get him pulled off of Twitter. Yes, I just said that. The Ukrainian intelligence services called up the FBI and had the FBI call Twitter to deplatform Aaron Mate and others. It's happening, guys. It's information warfare. Wake up.
The next question is from Timochenko in Halifax, Canada. My understanding is that Wagner is in Africa mainly to help the fight against jihadi and ISIS groups. My question is, who is funding and directing the jihadis? Some say it is the French.
I don't know anything about the French doing. The French have deployed a lot of forces into the Sahel to fight the jihadi ISIS groups. Wagner's in Mali to fight the jihadi ISIS groups, but if Wagner deploys to Niger, as it's indicated that they are, they ain't there to fight ISIS. They're there to fight the French. They're there to fight Nigeria. They're there to fight Benin. They're there to fight, Ivory Coast maybe, or Senegal, whoever is going to put together this 25,000 strong intervention force. I will just say this: there's no one sitting. Okay, Evgeny, thanks. Other options for donations.
Let's come back to that.
Well, I'm sorry. I got to stop reading these things.
All right. That's all right.
Anyway,
I've started that. We can come back to it.
The Wagner guys, and again, circumstantial. We don't know what it is, but a chartered aircraft flew out of Istanbul, flying straight to Niger. Generally speaking, that's a plane that's going to be full of Russian-speaking men of military age with certain haircuts. They're going to land in Niger, and they're going to fall in on equipment that's been put there, and suddenly you have, about an assault group. The way Wagner used to be organized, I think it still is. They're organized into assault groups, assault companies. They call them, or assault squads. About 350 men strong in each one. These are units that are designed to fight, pure combat units. And one, I believe, just deployed to Niger. I think they're joining up with others coming in from Mali. Wagner is very good at breaking up these assault groups into advisory groups. They have dhimmi assault groups, half assault groups, 150 strong or so that operate. They're operating this. They operated in the Central African Republic that way for a while till they brought it up to an assault group. Now 2 assault groups. And in Mali, they may have 5 assault groups. Niger may end up getting more. I mean, there's a lot of unemployed Wagner guys right now in Belarus. There's only so much training you can do. When you look at special forces training groups, they're not 5,000 strong. They're a couple hundred strong. And a lot of that is support. The trainers are in small numbers. So there's a lot of guys in Belarus who could be made available for this. And these are guys with relevant combat experience. The African Intervention Force isn't going to know what hit them. Frankly speaking, neither will the French or any Americans that are involved, because this isn't play game anymore. This isn't play date. These are guys who know how to use combined arms warfare. These are guys who know how to shoot down airplanes. These are guys who know how to bring in artillery fires. They know about maneuver and fire. If Wagner gets involved, it's going to be a game-changing military force, and France is going to rue the day that they allowed this to happen. This is Africa revolting against French policy. That's what's happening here.
Okay, let's move on to the next question from Axel in Finland. How can foreign nations expel U.S. military from their countries without sabotage or terrorism if the U.S. doesn't respect the political decisions of said countries? Syria, Iraq, Saudi Arabia. What can these countries do that they haven't already done?
Well, first of all, I would never encourage sabotage or terrorism against an American target. But if American troops are in your country and you don't want them there, then you pass a law to have them removed. And you give the United States a deadline for their removal. If they aren't removed, then you go to war against the United States. Surround the base, make a move in. Find out if America really wants to fight for this piece of territory. And what you'll find out in the most cases, America doesn't want to fight for that territory. Because in most places where they have troops, they only have enough troops to carry out operations that are supported by the host country. If the host country says, we don't want you there anymore, then there's no reason for them to continue being there. Generally speaking, we're probably not going to pour in the 3 to 4 divisions worth of troops necessary to maintain a full-time presence in a denied space in a hostile country. But that requires a lot. America doesn't show up in countries. We're usually invited in by governmental entities that we own, that we've paid for, that are beholden to us. So it's not as easy as saying, the parliament's going to pass a law to make this happen, and the prime minister is going to agree, and then the defense minister is going to agree, because usually we own the defense minister. Generally speaking, we bought them out a long time ago. The same thing with the police chief, the same thing with the chief of staff of the president. Presidents come and go, but that middle rank stuff, we own them all. The CIA buys everybody. That's why when they come into a country, they bring giant, what do you call those wooden things that you put stuff on? Forklifts pick them up. Pallets. Yes, pallets of money. So we buy everything. Look, so that's why it's not so easy to do what I'm saying. I'm being a little facetious here, but it's tough to kick the United States out because we're there because we've corrupted the sovereign integrity of that country. And it's very difficult for a corrupted nation to suddenly come together in a single and singular purpose of mind to evict Americans. But I will pretty much guarantee you today, especially with our resources stretched as they are, if any nation just straight up confronted us and said, get out, we're united in this, get out, we'll get out.
SW in Oregon, another one of our regulars. He likes to challenge you. For the U.S. to, or she, no, I think it's a he. For the U.S. to pull support from Ukraine would put all our nuclear umbrella agreements into question and tell every nation they need nukes to preserve sovereignty. Why do you support this?
We don't have a nuclear umbrella agreement with Ukraine. Not even close. None whatsoever. I know what you're saying. Blinken said if Russia nukes Ukraine, then America will respond. But not nuclearly. They made it clear that we'll respond with conventional weapons. There's no nuclear umbrella agreement with Ukraine. What are you talking about? We got no agreement with Ukraine. If we did, we'd have American troops on the ground. We got no agreement. And no, we're not encouraging nations to develop. I mean, it's not Russia that's encouraging this. I would imagine that America's policy towards North Korea, regime change. Ask yourself why the North Korean government's still in power. Because we don't want to get rid of them, or because they have nuclear weapons that would take down Seoul, Tokyo, and everything else in the region. It's the nuclear weapons. Ask yourself why the Arab countries don't get together and just, overwhelm Israel. They got nuclear weapons. It's things like that. The Iranians, tip of the hat to them, because most rational people would say, Iran should develop a nuclear weapon. That's how you guarantee that the United States and Israel don't try to remove you from power. But Iran's taken a principled moral stand, but they've also developed a tremendous conventional strike capability that will guarantee the destruction of Israel and American military bases in the region. So they have a non-nuclear deterrent. But it's the U.S. that tends to make the case for people to acquire nuclear weapons, not Russia. So don't go there.
A.M. Gutierrez in Hermosillo, Mexico. Ukraine is a country divided by an immense river. Why doesn't Russia destroy all the bridges and ships and boats that can transport all the heavy equipment from the western part to the eastern front, where all the fighting is going on, and leave the Ukrainian army without heavy armament? Why?
Because Russia's not at war with Ukraine. Russia's in a special military operation. The objectives of the special military operation are not to destroy the nation state of Ukraine. The objectives are to militarily, to demilitarize Ukraine, which Russia is doing right now, killing them at a rate that fluctuates between 7 and 15 dead Ukrainians for every one dead Russian. to ensure that Ukraine never joins NATO. If Russia wins this, Ukraine will never be a member of NATO, and to denazify Ukraine. And I still don't know how they're going to do that, but I'm sure they have a plan. But what they're not doing is seeking the physical destruction of Ukraine. The strikes against the Odessa seaport aren't because Russia is seeking to destroy the seaport. They're seeking to punish Ukraine for using the seaport to carry out as a base to carry out attacks against the Crimea Bridge and other places. You pay a price when you buy. There was an agreement. Ukraine agreed to not mix military with the food agreement, but they lied. They used it as a cover. And Russia now is saying you're going to pay a price. So that's what they're doing. But they're not taking out the port facility just to be mean spirited. They're just punishing Ukraine for violating the agreement. If Russia blows those bridges, eventually those bridges are going to have to be rebuilt. And the other thing is, if you start blowing bridges, there's no incentive now. If Russia goes to war, you have to finish it. You have to go all the way. You have to destroy everything. You have to win this the classic way. Russia's still trying to get Ukraine to come to the table and have a negotiated end to this conflict. And the best way you can lure people to the table is to ensure that there's a benefit for them to come to the table. And one of the benefits right now is that Russia isn't blowing up that infrastructure, isn't blowing up those bridges, taking out the train. Russia has made a decision that they're going to let these weapons flow through without blowing up the bridges. They're trying to interdict them at intermediate warehouses. They're trying to interdict them at the forward warehouses. They're trying to destroy them on the front. But they've made the decision not to blow these bridges. I know a lot of people question that decision, but again, I point out the harsh reality that Russia's not at war with Ukraine. They're in a special military operation. That's why Zelensky's still alive, by the way.
All right, we have a voicemail question from a gentleman named Patrick. Perk up those ears, Scott. Here we go.
Hey, Scott. How's it going? I had a quick question for you. I was just on Twitter, and I saw that Zelensky made a tweet this morning, today, August 4th, at like 10:40. And it was just, it was a brief little paragraph, and it came with a couple pictures of him shaking hands with Chris Christie. I know I'm from New Jersey, and I was just curious as to why politicians do this. Maybe just a quick explanation as to what the point of people like Chris Christie going to Bucha and meeting Zelensky is. I can understand Boris Johnson and other figures going to see him for morale and whatnot, but Chris Christie just doesn't seem to make any sense to me. Anyway, thanks.
No, it's a good question. Why do politicians kiss babies? Babies don't vote, but they kiss them because it's a good look. Because you win the hearts of the mothers, you do all that. For Chris Christie to go to Bucha and to be seen with Zelensky it's based upon the perception in the part of Christie's campaign that this empowers him. It gives him moral authority. He can say, I have seen Bucha. Now, I guarantee he's going to say that. He's going to go on his next speech. I have seen Bucha. I have stared evil into the face. I have shaken the hands of the Biden sniffs it. I have shaken the hands of the brave Ukrainian leaders, and I stand side by side with them. And if you vote for me for president, you will get a man that knows how to confront evil, how to stand by his allies, how to lead. That's why he's doing it. None of it's true. He's none of those. He's a failed New Jersey politician, corrupt as the day is long, and he doesn't stand for any. He doesn't know anything. If you think Chris Christie knows anything about the military, you're wrong. If you think he knows anything about national security, you're wrong. If you think he knows anything about Bucha, you're wrong. I could have a debate right now with Chris Christie and run him off the stage on Bucha. I could have a debate with him about Ukraine and run him off the stage, but he doesn't want to have a debate. What he's trying to do is shape perception. Gosh, what are we talking about today, Jeff? Information warfare. Chris Christie is waging information warfare against you, against every citizen of the United States. There ain't nothing honest about what he's doing, but it certainly is effective in shaping public perception about Chris Christie, Mr. Presidential Candidate.
Question is from Ibrahim in Montreal. If Putin was as intelligent as some say, he should never have allowed the coup in Ukraine to succeed, and his troops should have entered the country as quickly as possible. He holds a large part of the responsibility for what is happening, for his inaction, apart from the annexation of Crimea. Do you agree with this assessment?
Not at all. First of all, Putin should never have allowed the coup in Ukraine to succeed. What was he? And his troops should have entered the country. So you're saying Putin should be a war criminal? That's what you're saying. You're saying Putin should have invaded Ukraine in total disregard for the United Nations charter. Because the way he went in with the special military operation is cognizable under the Article 51 and the concepts of preemptive self-defense. Going in after that's not preemptive self-defense. That's just a straight up invasion. And the last time I checked, Putin's not a dictator. See, Putin is smart because he knows what kind of leader he is. He knows that he has to report to the Russian the Federation Council, that he has to go to the Duma and get permission to do things. He can't just run off and do it on his own. So don't blame Putin for this. Putin's job was to try and come up with a peaceful solution, not to encourage more violence. And he tried to do that. Now, once they got involved in a shooting match in 2014, when they had the Ukrainian forces surrounded, Putin does say that his biggest regret was believing the French and the Germans, Merkel and Hollande, when they talked about a ceasefire and bringing about a negotiated end to the conflict. What he says today, in retrospect, he should have just killed the entire Ukrainian army and got it over with. It would have been over. Game, set, match. But he didn't. Why? Because he's not a dictator. He's not a murderer. He's a rational man. He's a man who believes in pursuing peaceful outcomes if possible, and he had to give this one a chance. So no, I disagree with that assessment.